Good morning, everybody. I am IHDarklord, Demeyere from Team Belgium, and with me is SmithF family, Pascal Sidiras, also from Team Belgium.
Hello, people.
Hello, and we are here to talk about the army list for an upcoming tournament of not this Saturday, but the Saturday after, the 28th of September, Challenge 14 in Roeselare, my hometown. We both are going to talk about the lists. There's 32 lists, 32 players. We'll go over them swiftly and tell you guys what we think about them. Anything
Cool.
to add?
Let's get started.
Let's get started.
No, just for people who don't know the scene, it's a nice tournament scene, and there's a lot of very good players with quite unusual lists. So that's something that will be fun for people who haven't had any contact with Belgium's tournament scene.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
Spoiler alert, there's no Undying Dynasties this time, so it's going to be a very fun tournament for once.
Indeed.
Indeed. Let's start with the first one, the DAS list. Alexander Trevunovic or something like that. He's playing Kingdom of Aquitaine.
Quite interesting, Kingdom of Aquitaine. You'll see that the next one is also very interesting, the Kingdom lists. So it's an MSU list.
It is. I see a Duke on a Pegasus with Humility, Questing Oath, Bastard Sword, Fortress of Faith, Basalt Infusion, Bastard Sword. That's not the usual Pegasus Lord you'd see.
No, but he's interesting because he can give rerolls to himself.
Yep.
Thanks to Humility. So he can be more independent, but then he's the general, so that would beat the purpose.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
And he also brings 2 units of Pegasus, so he can practically choose where he wants him in. One with the champion, though, so I assume that's his main bunker. They're expensive, the Pegasus Knights. 450
They are.
points. Wow.
Loic has been going on about that, yeah. They are expensive. They have 2+ armor save, though. What strikes me is that there's no net build at all. His BSB is also interesting with the Virtue of Daring. That gives plus movement, I think, when you're charging, right?
It's possible, I have no clue. I don't know Kingdom of Aquitaine that much. But
and he has Divination and Shamanism. I like that.
Double Mage, a Master Adept. I don't know if an Adept on Shamanism will do that much.
Well, you can
charge
get...
is not bad, but...
Yeah. And you can get Frenzy and Battle Focus, so that's good.
True. Also, oh yeah, that would not be bad on Knights.
No.
2 big blocks. I can't see any special banners, so he doesn't have anything wicked going on there. His Master is even on a Unicorn.
He's keeping it cheap, I think. The idea is that you get many units. You get the Green Knight who can pop up and redirect or charge a unit.
Isn't the Strider banner on a unit cheaper than the Unicorn?
Probably, but it doesn't get the magic resistance too. So I think that's the idea. I think so. Yeah. And what I really like is the Crystal of the Valiant Charge. I've been going on about this item, so it kind of nullifies your opponent's magic phase on the turn after you charge. So you pop it up, you use it, and then you gain Vel tokens while your opponent loses. So it would be really good against, for example, vampires or anyone who is basing his strategy on buffing his units for the subsequent turns.
I don't know if there's many lists like that, but we'll see.
We'll see that.
I think he'll do fairly well. Kingdom of Aquitaine, although there's no Undying Dynasties to slaughter, he doesn't bring the Undying Dynasties slaughtering character, so it's not really an issue there.
Agreed.
So let's see how it will fare.
Yeah, and he's an MSU Sylvanov player usually, so I think he will apply the same strategies here. So yeah, looking forward to see how he does.
Yeah, he'll try to shoot everything down, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's not how MSU works with Sylvanovs. Didn't you get the memo?
I didn't. Not at all.
No. Okay. So let's move on. We have Benjamin Asfen Bentuel. He's Saurians. Wow, that list reminds me of days past. So he has basically Protean Potentate Quadlord who goes inside one unit of Temple Guard, 23 of them. He has a second unit of Saurian warriors, which move 5 and have fight in 4 ranks. And then he's got 2 units of Flying Chaff, always good, and 3 monsters.
No, 2 monsters.
No, 2 monsters, yeah, I was about to mention that. So he has a Thyroscutus, so big props for using that. It's a stubborn or unbreakable monster.
It's very expensive, that I know. I'm going to look it up. I have my computer open. So.
It's a thing that has a very good armor save. It's like a cheap steam tank that doesn't shoot and doesn't do anything in combat.
So,
so yeah,
it's stubborn on discipline 6. So that would be 8 of the quaddle.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It has a crush attack.
It does have a crush attack.
So it's not completely bad against other monsters, I guess, with his stuff.
And it has poisoned attacks as well with the Altar of the Snake God. So yeah, it is a fluff choice. Let's be clear. There's a lot of things in the list that are not optimized, like the Alpha Carnosaur without the hard target item.
Very true.
And there is no engine, so...
Also true. But I think he will be fine if he plays against people who underestimate the big blocks. Like, if you just run in with something, you will probably die, right?
Yeah, and Temple Guard have the rending bar, so he's done good choices in at points. So and he has magic that can buff his units. So yeah, it's a decent. It remains a 2-block list, 2-block, 2-monster list. So I think
see what it does.
Can be outmaneuvered, but it's okay. I think we'll see.
One of the pre-selected players for Team Belgium this year.
And
let's see what he brings. Sylvan Elves, unexpectedly. List you would probably like to play with, I assume. I
really like this list. Great props for him for bringing that. He's ticking all the boxes, but I'll let you read it.
Forest Prince on an elk, which is a wild hunter. He's got the strength 7, I guess, with tons of attacks. He does. Resistance. He's got the 4 report save, so that guy is relatively cheap and does tons of damage. He's got a BSB, which is a Blade Dancer with Hunter's Honor and a Potion of Swiftness. Doesn't that guy have like agility 8 or 9 standard? He has 7 or 8, but his idea is to always strike before your opponent, so that you can always get the distracting on the unit. Yeah, it's a good combo, and he gives +1 magic resistance as well to the Blade Dancers. More magic resistance, that's good. A Druid on an Eagle. Good lord, with Silver Blades and Hero's Heart. Well. A Shamanism one, that's the right one to put on the Eagle for sure. Yeah, exactly. And then a Cosmology added on a horse, which is good, because his core consists of Triads and Heath Hunters. So those are the shooty ones, right? They are, yeah. Vanguard and shooty ones. So he has got the Triads to score something, which is going to be annoying in some objectives, I guess. 9 Wild Huntsmen with the champion and shields. The shields don't make them durable at all, but the champion does help his prince a little bit. 5 shields. Yeah. That's a lot. Also with the champion, 12 Blade Dancers with the champion, and 3 Kestrels with the champion. So he really wants his prince to not get challenged. So yeah, that's interesting. He's bringing 5 Kestrel Knights probably to provide a lookout serve for his druid if he needs it. Personally, I'm a big fan of Symmetry, so I would have gone with 2x4. But other than that, he's bringing all the good choices in the book, in my opinion. He has a lot of mobility. He has a Blade Dancer unit, which is deceptively strong, and double strength buffs, plus the hereditary of the Sylvan Elves, plus the battle focus if he needs it. So there's a lot of combat buffs. He doesn't have any shooting. He has 15 bows, but let's be clear, these guys will just run interference and redirect whenever needed. I don't like the Wild Huntsman at all. I don't. Well, it's a unit that some armies cannot ignore. For example, Beastmen, they simply cannot ignore this unit. Vampires as well. It does a ton of damage and can charge
reasonably far. So
Yeah, and
it's
they're light troops as well, right?
they are they
Yeah,
are.
so they'll get
So
anywhere they
it's
want. But yeah, I mean, if you really just want your prince to get somewhere, isn't it better to bring like 5 or 6 heath hunters in a unit and just put it in there? And
definitely, but I'm under the assumption that he will not use it as a bunker unless he does have to. So if there are no cannons, he will just split it and have an extra, like very mobile threat.
it's possible.
So that
-5,
brings
4+4. Yeah, sure.
that means that he could have three flying threats and two very mobile non-flying threats and the blade dancers as an anvil unit inside of a forest. So very good list. I'm really happy to see this list
He'll play well
in the
with it as
field.
well. So
Yeah, he's a very good player as well.
let's see. Another Team Belgium player, Cedric Malak.
Oh,
He's playing Dread Elves again.
he's playing Dread Chariots.
Dread Chariots, for sure. And Dread Horses, Dread Chariots. And this BSB is on a chariot. His other captain is on a chariot. His prince is on a chariot. He brings 4
Surprise, yeah.
other chariots. His oracle is on foot, which is a shame, right? Could have can it be on a chariot? I mean,
No,
no,
it can be in a horse, but then you need to have a mobile bunker for it. So I think it's a good idea.
like one of the 3 Dark Raider units,
Yeah,
or
but
the
you can
Dark Raider
always
units.
shoot it away.
Sure. But his bunker will be the 20 Dread Spears then. 13 blades. He's not really good on the scoring aspect, right? 3 relatively small scoring units.
He's fine, I think, because the 19 dancers of EM are by any means small. I think that they're a very good like size for this unit, and once they get into combat, they're quite durable.
True.
But I think that the bulk of his attacks come from non-scoring units. So if he needs to, he will keep one of the units or two of the units back to score, much like I did at DTC, for example. And the main thing is he does use these three chariots together, the three character models.
To make a
So
Death Star.
he makes a chariot Death Star with a banner of blood, which gives +1 attack on the charge on every how's it called? And every model part.
Yeah.
So that means that every rider of the chariot gets +1 attack, every crew of the chariot gets +1 attack, every raptor gets +1 attack. So that quickly becomes very hard to manage.
2 million attacks with lightning reflexes, offensive 6 and 7, strength 6, or more. Yeah, it's not bad.
If I had to criticize a single choice, is that I would have put an altar in this list.
Yeah. If only for the maximized charges, but also for the +1 to wound. I think it's
exactly.
Yeah, but let's see how it plays out. I think it's not a bad list. He'll score well with it. Depending on the matchups, though. I mean, if you play against someone who can kill like 2 chariots each turn, it's probably very difficult.
Yeah, but who can kill 2 chariots from afar each turn? That's toughness 5 and 3 up save and 4 wounds.
True. It's not easy.
So
sure.
I think the vulnerable part of his list is losing his BSB to a cannon shot or to snipe or something like that.
Yeah, and starting to panic everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be funny. Although there's not many cannons around in this tournament, so.
I saw that people will see that as we go on. I think there's 1 cannon in the whole field. So yeah.
Very
spoilers.
Nice. Christopher, the Warriors of the Dark God guy. He's on the forums as well as Rotulf. People will probably know him.
Yeah, he's been the community representative for the Warriors. So it's quite fitting that he's playing Warriors.
Yeah, he should. He should. And he's playing Chosen Lords and all the Chosen stuff you can imagine, except for the Chosen themselves or Chosen Knights. He doesn't actually play any Chosen stuff, right?
Just the Chosen Lords, yeah.
Just the Chosen Lords.
Well, to be frank, nobody plays the Chosen Knights. But yeah. So what does he have? He has a War Dice with Burning Portent. Interestingly enough, no, he does have Idols, right? Yeah. And he has another one. Oh, that's nice. So he has a Flying Chosen Lord.
With a 1-up rerollable, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And Symbol of Slaughter. Well, that's
and then
expensive for what it does, but I think it will be fun.
I think it will surprise people if you don't know, if you don't expect that. He cannot be redirected. There is no way to prevent a charge because he's 1 inch. So even by putting a unit in front, he can always fly over it and go to the unit in the back.
Yeah.
Um,
The only issue will be line of sight, I guess.
yeah. And so he has a big unit of warriors where he will probably place the battle shrine and 2 war dice, which is kind of overkill, but yeah, that makes a big Death Star. And then some
He has 2 battle shrines. Holy.
He has a
Mother of
second
Jesus.
one, yeah.
Alchemy, and the sorcerer on alchemy as well. He's got a lot of magic.
But he has, apart from this big unit and his Flying Lord, which is like very cute, he has no big combat threats. I mean,
he will have to make sure his big unit gets into combat, and then the Helmo will help with that, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess that in a field with no cannons, he could even play the Lord independently and have another combat threat.
It's very true, and a 1-up rerollable Chaos Lord is not easy to
No.
kill. Not at all. Yeah, that's nice. I think it's a fun list, and it's going to perform relatively well as well.
It's a finesse list. He needs to play well. He needs to take advantage of the gateways. A lot of people in Belgium haven't faced the gateways yet, so that will be also a fun experience for everyone involved.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've played against gateways like twice, and I've played a lot. I play a lot of games, so
Yeah,
I can assume nobody here in Ruslar will have ever seen one, which is scary. The first time
it
you hear
is.
about it, and the first time you lose against it, it's even more scary.
What's interesting is he's bringing only alchemy, so that's a whole lot of alchemy going on. He could have diversified. He could have even gotten, I don't know, evocation.
Yeah, I think the Master on Evocation would have made more sense. You
Yeah,
have some ranged threat, right? You have a way of winning the game without actually going in. Now he has to
exactly.
fight.
Yeah, and he has no Veil Walker. If you listen to Abrasives, he will say that everyone should play Veil Walker. But
Very
yeah,
likely.
he's very absolute about his opinions. So.
Yeah, he's usually right, I guess.
Yeah.
So then the first vampire list, Edouard.
So that's an ETC veteran and a very good player, and he's played quite optimized vampire list.
Yep,
So
I like
he's
it.
independent. He doesn't have a bloodline, and he's bringing the occultism master with the extra range, who can fight relatively well if he has to. On foot, he brings the netlist Barrow King BSB,
Which is
and
perfect.
he is, yeah. And then he supplements this with a second mage, which is a necromancer with necromantic staff and a master of evocation. So lots of magic, lots and
Yes,
lots of
all the
snipes.
spells. So good. So
Yeah.
good.
And then you quickly see what his battle plan is. He has 2 units of 30 skeletons with Legion Standard. These will be very fast. 60 skeletons with Legion Standard. He has a small bunker, some wolves, yeah, why not? And then the odd choice is a smallish Barrow Guard unit.
Yes, only
With
25.
Yeah,
And he brings shields, which I like.
and no Banner of Zaxford.
No,
So that's slightly worse. And then he has fast stuff. He has 8 Vampire Spawn, 5 Vampire Knights, 7 Wraiths, and 2 Great Bats.
so
So
his chaff is 2 units,
he has little chaff, that's true.
and then his count is on foot, so will most likely go into the barrow guard, which leaves him vulnerable to insane units. Like I assume the barrow guard won't be able to fight with the warriors we saw in the previous list.
That is true.
That's
That is
probably an
true.
issue for the unit, right? I mean,
Well, it's deceptively strong, this unit, because he has the BSB, who will bring down the combat resolution, and he has the bodyguard. So as long as the vampire is alive, they only lose combat by 3 or 4 per turn, and they can snipe characters out of units thanks to their ability quite well. But I agree, it's a bit on the small side, and it's a bit risky when you're also housing your 800-point vampire count in there.
Yep. Bam. It's a cheap unit of Barragard. I like the unit because it's very cheap. I don't like it if you have to put a character in there. I think it would function very well on its own.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, you're not going to put the vampire inside a skeleton unit, right? Yeah, you
You could.
might, but
You might. Well, you can. I think the Barrow Guard have bodyguard Barrow King as well. So if he really needs to, he can put the Barrow King in to make the unit stubborn and make them hold a bit longer.
I think they might have bodyguard without any special things.
Could be, could be.
I'm just going to check it quickly.
It's a good list, and I think the idea of multiplying the threats is good because if you look back at your games you play against vampires, if there is a Death Star, you just redirect it all
Yep,
game long.
true.
Here, even if this happens, he charges a chaff piece, he can still cast the occultism spells because these are direct damage spells, and he has a lot of other things to do bad stuff to the peripheral units. So yeah, it's a good list.
Are the 7
I
rates
like
worth
it.
it though? Wouldn't you rather have like 2 more great bats and a few more bear guard?
Personally, I would rather have the mounted version, even if it cannot go through units to activate the sweeping attacks. Just because having this extra range can be very helpful.
Yeah, and then you can at least use it as chaff as well.
Yeah.
Rates are not slow, but are not fast enough to actually be chaff.
Yes.
And I also
So
kind of
yeah,
miss a champion on the direwolves, but I think the skeleton of the list is very good. I think, but if he plays a lot with it, it will be a lot better by the end of the year.
yeah, I agree. I agree that there's a small tweaks to be had, but the core of the list is very good. It's a very solid list.
After this, we have the first highborn elf player, Fernando.
Fernando Elendor.
Yes.
So
He brings a High Prince, Master of Kenrick Tower with the Sliver Destiny Skull Obsidian Rock. It's a nice cookie cutter build. He has a BSB, which is the Queen's Companion, with the Banner of Becalming. I always like that banner, not to play against it, but I think it's very strong. A Mage, an Adept on Cosmology with Book of Arcane Mastery, helps the Master of Kenrick Tower out quite nicely. I don't like the Cosmology choice. I think like Pyromancy would have probably been better, but that's like my personal opinion,
yeah,
I guess.
he's going for the double strength buff, but it's true that he could have easily gone for the flaming swords and have gotten the same effect against most
Yep.
things. But then he can also augment his shooting as well.
Yep.
But he doesn't have a lot of shooting.
Not that much. He does have 3 times 20 spears, once with the War Banner of Raima, which is fine, I guess. I don't like it on spears, but it's fine. Some chaff, 2 units of Raima Knights, 19 Flame Wardens, which you never see anymore, so that's nice. And the Rending Banner on
Yes,
them. So that's going to be like a 1200 point unit if he puts his prince in there. And he's going to put his prince in there.
he probably will. Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have taken 20 Flame Wardens, right? I mean, 19.
Or he could play like 3 times 6 and one in the back. He
That is
gets full
possible.
attacks. He only does one attack, so if he suffers a casualty. 10 sword masters, 2 giant eagles. He's 3 eagles short from having a good unit.
Yeah, true. 2
And
is useless.
people, if you're listening to this and you play eagles, play them in units of 5.
At least 5. Never less and never more.
Yeah,
Unless you can take more because of a rule change, then you can take more. But never
you
less.
should take 6 in this case.
At
Yeah.
least 6, yes.
And then you have 12 Queensguard with spears again.
So he has a little bit of shooting. And just enough to kill Chaff, I guess. 12 Queen Guards and Moonlight Arrows on the BSB is probably enough to kill Chaff.
It's probably enough, yeah. And they will be quick to fire, and they will hit everything on 2+.
His magic is good. Very versatile.
It is very good, yeah.
His combat is a lot of small units and the unit of Flame Wardens. I think if he gets the right matchup and he plays very well, it will go very well. And if he makes a mistake, he'll get punished very hard.
Yeah, you just practically described every elf list ever.
Nah, that's not true. I played against trees recently. Yeah.
Trees are not elves. Trees are
Okay.
not elves.
Okay.
Let's not
Okay.
get mixed up there. But yeah, it's a very good list for a skilled player. and it can create opportunity. It has the charge range. What I'm missing is the another Warbinder of Rima. I would like it on the second unit as well.
I thought you would have said a Frost Phoenix. Honestly.
If I had known that there would be no cannons, probably. But in all cameras list, I think that it's a good idea to not take big point sinks and just go for the elves and see what they do. And the citizen spirits with Warbinder of Rima and the +1 strength, it quickly become like sword masters.
Yeah.
So that's a good,
For the same price, you have twice the number of bodies, and you actually have something that strikes at the same strength.
The other good point is that he has a lot of scoring.
Yep, he does.
Every unit of his is scoring. So if we don't roll flags, which for the listeners, it's I think random.
Yep.
How do you do it in the tournament?
Every round before the round starts, I'll roll a dice for deployment and scenario, and if it's a new one when we didn't have before in the tournament, I'll announce it at the start of the round.
All right.
So that means it's 1 in 2 chance we'll have flags in the tournament.
So yeah, if he doesn't play flags, he has a distinct advantage in almost every other scenario.
You know, I made a bet with Fernando. Every round he doesn't finish 6 turns, he's going to buy me a beer, and if he does finish 6 turns, I'm going to buy him a beer.
Yeah, I will wager that you will not have to buy him a beer.
No. Last challenge, he bought me 3 beers, and the last time I saw him, he bought me 2 beers, and he still has to buy me one from a few weeks ago. So I assume I will be drunk by the evening again.
Yeah, that's
like
a safe bet. That's a safe bet.
He's a very nice guy. He likes to give beer to people. Yeah.
He is, yeah. So let's move to another nice guy who comes all the way from Normandy.
Yes, François.
François. So François, for those who don't know him, is a past ETC Belgium member, and he has been our coach for the past 2 years. He has been pre-selected this year as well to participate in the team, and will be traveling like 5 hours to go to the tournament, which is also very nice.
True.
Of him.
And he's also going to stay the night after the tournament to have some beer with us. So, I mean,
nice.
How nice can you become, right? And he's also the only person with a cannon, so he's the real original, unique player in the field.
Yeah, he's bringing. How should I call it? It's a gunline Empire list.
It is.
And it has 2 big infantry blocks and the steam tank just to keep things honest and keep people from rushing him too fast.
I like it so much. It's so good. It's such a good list.
It is a good list. He has all the magic in the world.
Yes.
He has he has a marshal. He has 2 marshals. So that's 3 orders in total. Very good leadership with 18-inch range leadership from the household standard.
Yep.
And you can see from the get-go that he won't be risking his general. He will put him in the 21 heavy infantry block and keep him back, give the small light infantry units shoot in 3 ranks, and just not take any risks. He has a biggish, I would say, unit of Imperial Guards with shields, which is the way you're supposed to play them, and the rending banner. And in there he can put a prelate and probably his BSB with the battle focus giving item. So these are a very good defensive unit who can catch people off guard. You do not want to charge it in the front with something that's not very good.
The thing in his list that I like so much is that he has all these different, so fucking cheap characters. I mean, 200 points for a prelate, 200 points for a wizard. You can just throw it away as chaff.
Exactly. He has
2 binding scrolls, all the options in magic. He's got 3 buffs with the hatred, with the battle focus. He's got the best leadership in the world. He shoots like a truck, and he still has so many good scoring units. So much chaff. His list is done. It's finished. It's perfect.
It's a good list. Yeah. The one downside would be that he is not very mobile. So if he does have to play either Spoils of War or Breakthrough, that could be a problem because these are the scenarios that force you to go to the opponent.
although, I mean, with the orders, he can quickly get somewhere. Of course, he'll have to battle through, which is more difficult for his list. But I predict he'll end up quite high in the end.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, this is a 3-game tournament, so
Yep.
one bad round will see him drop, and that's the same for everyone else.
Yep.
What I'm missing, but I cannot see how he could put it in, is the distracting wagon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
If you
would be
put
good.
it on a wizard, it's not that expensive. I think it's only like 160 points. Where would you get it? Probably cutting the cannon.
Yeah, but as we'll see going on, I think that having a cannon is a very, very good idea in this field.
Yeah, we haven't seen all that many targets for the cannon yet, though.
Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah, they are coming. The monsters are coming.
Yeah, so
And
next we have...
Yeah, not monster playing. Francois again. Two Francois at the same tournament is going to be funny. Valmir, the Frankinator.
the Frankster.
The Frankster, yeah. The one who gets lost is his new name. I haven't told you about this. He came to play in trucks where challenge is last week.
All right,
He
and
arrived at the train station and then he was walking, which would take about 5 minutes to get there.
but he got lost.
He got lost and he ended up on the other side of the city. So I got him by car. I only had to drive
So,
like 15 minutes to get to him.
so it would be safe to say that he got on the wrong side of the tracks.
And not only on the wrong side, I mean, he kept on going. It's insane. I think he
We all
went
love
half
we
now.
we love Francois.
If you love
He's
him,
such a nice guy and
yes.
a very good general. So that brings us to his list.
Oh yeah, that's more important. It's also Kingdom of Vicatane and also MSU, right? He does have the Divine Judgment Might combo, but it's on his Paladin BSB, so that's relatively cheap and on a horse. The only other character would be his general, which is a damsel on druidism. He also has the Crystal of the Flying Charge, and he also has a Storm Clarion, which is probably the best item in the book.
It is. It is.
And then the rest of his list consists of 20 million knights.
In 10 million small units.
Yes, which is good. I've seen him play with it. It's interesting. I mean, knights in themselves aren't very strong, right? But if you have like 20 knights charging something instead of 9, it usually does more.
It does. And the other thing is that this is a very good player we're talking about. He's an ETC member. He knows, he sees the game, he can project the game, and if he has so many charge opportunities, it's sure that he will get a flank, he will get a clipping charge somewhere, and he has the ranks to deny steadfast. He has a lot of small units that can strike reasonably hard over a small frontage. I'm not really impartial about this list because I helped write it.
The only thing I don't really like is the units of 3 Knights of the Grail. I think I like the 5 Knight Aspirants more than the 3 Knights of the Grail for the same points.
Yeah, but these are units that are immune to psychology, so they are independent.
Yeah.
So they can be on a flank, and they can hold an objective while you're battling through 3 times 9 Knights of the Quest, 9 Knights of the Realm, a Green Knight, and a Paladin who has the Judgment. So I like the Might Divine Judgment on a small Paladin because
it does the same.
it does the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, nobody with his right mind is going to park 6 Kaiman in front of that Paladin. I mean,
exactly.
He might have less chances. You'll need to be more lucky to get through more things, but in the end, it does the same thing.
Yeah, it's all less all or nothing. I mean, you're not paying 1,000 points for the Pegasus Duke plus the Pegasus bus. You're just paying 400 points, which is 200 points more than you would pay for your BSB, and you get such a utility model that could do a lot or do nothing, and you'd still be happy about it.
Yeah, exactly. I like it
So
a lot.
yeah,
It's good.
I think Francois could end up top 3 with his list.
Oh yeah, sure. I think he's always a contender for a top spot.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be weird if he wins, even with Kingdom of Vicatane, which I don't think is the strongest army out there. It would not be weird if he won.
Agreed.
A very much stronger army for Gaetan Le Grand. The Chaos again.
Chaos. So, yeah, that one is an interesting one. It's to make things easy. It's a 3-block list. It has
Interesting,
2
he
units
says.
of 7 Forsworn. Each unit is stubborn because it has a Doom Lord inside, and then he has a big unit of warriors, which move fast and have a chosen lord without the burning portent.
True. He does have access to flaming attacks with the Doom Lord with the cleansing light. He also has reroll to Divine on the other Doom Lord, and the Chosen Lord has a great weapon. Immortal Gauntlets gives him Weapon Master, I guess. Oh no, he's greedy. He's
No,
greedy.
I think that's the thing that you can spend a Veil token and get Divine or Flaming or whatever.
Oh, okay, like that. So he's got all the flaming he wants, and I mean, not many units can fight a big Forsworn unit or warrior unit anyway. So
Yeah. So what I don't like about the list is, for one, it doesn't have enough chuff.
2 units of Warhounds.
2 units of Warhounds, and for 2, he's Doomlord, upon which resides his whole plan, because they make the unit stubborn, are not that well protected. It's a 1+,
yeah.
1-up, no reroll. So Dusk Forged costs 50 points. I would have just put it on one of these guys.
Yep, for sure.
Because there's a lot of things that can go through a 1-up save. Krakens, for example.
Yeah, who plays Krakens though?
I mean, yeah.
But it's true. His Doom Lords, if you can get into those units and you can kill the Doom Lords, he loses a third of his army, which is a lot of points. So,
Yeah.
and then he
And the
probably
Forsworn
loses the game.
themselves do not fight very, very well. They're a good anvil, but you need hammers in this list.
Yep.
And
I don't like the list extreme. And I mean, it will do its job. Some people will just rush in because they want to win, but it's not really.
it's a warriors list. It's a warriors list, so it's stable, and it can just sit on an objective and go nowhere. But if you take the time to move around, maneuver, I think you can get game-winning flank charges into this, because it cannot cover the entire field.
He also only has 1 gateway to start with.
Yeah, that's bad as well. That means that he cannot jump into a gateway on turn 1.
It's probably enough if he wants to play a slow game, but I don't think he wants to play a slow game. We'll see. There's a lot
But
of
let's
chaos.
take this list and just contrast it with the next one.
Yeah.
I think that it will showcase what we mean.
Adrien, another Team Belgium player. His list is completely different.
Yeah, I like his list. So he got bored with playing movement 3 shooty dwarves, infernal dwarves, and he instead went the MSU-ish, perhaps.
He doesn't like movement 3,
Warriors
so
list.
he goes to movement 4. I think it's a very good idea.
Well, there's not a lot of movement 4 in the list.
And actually nothing if you count the Banner of Relentless Company.
Yeah.
That's insane, okay. So his Doom Lord is better protected with the 1-up rerollable.
Exactly.
He has 3 mages, which are all adepts on 3 different paths on Dark Chariot. I like that a lot. That's 3 separate threats. They are well protected with plate armor and the chariot, and he has a lot of different options in Magic.
And these are things that can also flee.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
They don't have the chaos armor, right? So
yeah, so they can flee. I don't think they get the rerolls on break tests, but okay, it's a chariot that can cast magic and can flee.
Yep.
In an army that cannot usually flee, so that's good. And what does he have else?
18 warriors with a champion which is favored from a halberd envy. So that's reroll once to hit and to charge.
To charge, yeah.
And then a Banner of Relentless Company, so the 18 warriors are quite fast. Some chaff, 2x6 chosen, also with envy and halberds. So that's a lot of attacks with a lot of rerolls and a lot of strength.
And high agility.
And high agility and a very small frontage. So that's quite dangerous actually.
Mm-hmm.
Forsworn with great weapons, so they will just die and become spawn because of damnation.
They
And then
will, yeah.
7 Forsworn, the big bunker we saw in the previous list as well. He doesn't have the banner of speed, which I don't mind all that much because you have a Helmo anyway, and he also takes 1 portal.
And he also has 3 different paths from which he can take very good offensive spells.
Yep.
So he's not that hard pressed to get into combat on turn 1. He has at least 3 magic missiles he can cast.
Yes.
He will take his time, he will place his gateways, he will play the objective game. He has a lot of scoring. I think it's a very good list. I like the 4 Forsworn with great weapons because if you play them 2x2, you get all of their attacks.
And if
Against
you
a
want them
monster,
to
that's good.
die, I mean, I think the unit of Forsworn is good with Damnation. I like it fluff-wise a lot more than the Spiked Shield thing. The Spiked Shield is fluff-wise okay-ish, but I think it's too strong now. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
It feels
Um,
very strong.
I think the great weapons fit a different role. So it's 8, strength 6, I think, attacks
Mm-hmm.
that could go on a monster.
Yes.
This is a unit that cannot be stopped.
Nope.
And this is a unit that has relatively good defensive skill. I think it's 3 or 4. No, it's 4, so most monsters hit it on 4s. And if it dies, it just becomes something that can target the monster again. So it's a good idea. It's like you say, it's probably a better choice than the spike shields, especially in a unit that you actually want to lose combat, so that it can turn into the wretched ones.
Yeah, the unbreakable things. Oh yeah, they're wretched
Yeah.
ones. There's no spawns anymore, guys. You didn't hear me say that. It's wretched
No.
ones. Then, if you didn't have enough of chaos yet, we have one guy bringing an auxiliary book, the Asklanders. Ian.
That actually forced me to go through the book and read it, and I have to say, it's amazing. I like it so much. It has so many fun things. It's not probably that fine-tuned and balanced as the other ones, but I wouldn't mind playing against it. So for the people who don't have time or are bored and not want to go through the entire book, I'll just break it down into what it is. It has the Asklanders, which are your basic spear troops with strength 4, AP1, and 4 up save. It has 2 chiefs. The one hits reasonably hard with all the rules for lethal strike, divination, divine attacks, and what else. And he has a second chief that can stomp, not crush attack twice. And then he has some chaff, lots of chaff actually. So 2 times Slayers, 3 times Warhounds. And then he has 3 monsters. One is the funky one, Jotun, which does lots of different stuff. But basically, it's a strength 7 monster with 7 hit points. And then he has 40 Huskarls, which is the elite version of the Asklanders. And they might have Bodyguard, I think.
They do. And they also have a special rule which makes them have +1 armor save if they have a shield equipped and a one-hander.
Yeah, so that's the entire book. So even the giants get it.
Yes.
Because giants come with shields. So everything has 4 up armor save. I think it's a fun little list.
It's a lot of models. I've played against
Yeah.
a similar list while I was testing with him, and then I helped a little bit creating this. It doesn't feel very strong, but you can't make a mistake because he has like one extremely big stubborn unit. He has 2 big brothers, a Jotun, and 2 30 model units. He can play the objective very easily, and he can countercharge very easily with his 5 units of chaff.
Question: does he play the Big Brother giants inside the units as platforms?
Against me, he did, but I've told him not to do it unless you're sure you're not getting flanked. Because
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I killed 30 Asklanders with the giants inside was because I got the Sphinx in the side and a small unit of Necroguard on the other side, and the giant could never hit. He fled, he died.
Yeah, and that this is one of these instances where having the giant outside would mean that you have another threat.
Yes.
So I
Certainly
would
if it's
definitely play
super.
these outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Depending on what you play against, if you play like against the 3 block chaos list we just saw, it might be a good idea to throw all your eggs in the same basket as well, and try it like this. Certainly in the Huskarls, I mean they're stubborn anyway, right? It doesn't
Yeah, no,
really do
I
much.
wouldn't. Even then, I would probably play the giants in single units so that you can, for example, do a combined charge with the warhounds and 2 giants into a big block
Mhm.
so that the giants can clip. This is a dirty trick, by the way, guys. So keep
Don't
notes.
do it that way. Don't listen to Pascal.
So that would mean that the 2 giants would get maximized stomps, and then the opponent would only get to strike practically against warhounds.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of tricks to pull, and the I don't know if you saw, but the hereditary spell of the Astlanders is also fun. It
Yes.
can it can boost the armor save of one of your units or lower the armor save of one of the opponent's units.
That means those Huskarls would go to armor save 2+.
Yeah,
That's a lot of armor save.
that is a lot of armor save for a bodyguard unit.
Yes.
So yeah, looking forward to this. I really hope I get to play this because I've never faced him. Does he have a very good army, a very nicely painted army?
I think nothing will be painted.
Damn it.
He was just
So yeah.
gluing everything together when we last met, so I hope everything will be ready and done by the time challenge is there. I mean, it's only like 200 models he'll have to stick together, so it's going to be easy.
Yeah, just sleep is overrated, Ian. You shouldn't
Sleep
sleep.
is
Just
overrated.
yeah. So
Coffee.
moving on.
Coffee is
Coffee is
overrated.
good. Yeah, it is.
Dwarves. A list you probably know of somewhere, somehow.
So yeah, Joachim Bonte is playing. Yeah, a variant of a list I used to play back in the day. So it's basically a big unit of greybeards that houses a king on a war throne with all the magic runes.
Yes, all of
And
them.
yeah, he has strength 6, d3 wounds, 6 wounds, 1 plus save. He has a 4-up ward save when you charge him.
And
And then he also has.
he has the breath attack on the king even. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
So,
monster.
so he's got actually a unit that you have to avoid, and that unit costs 2,000 points.
Yes.
And then he has a magic phase, which is decent because he has double battle runes. So he has Runic Smith and the Anvil of Power. Small scoring units, warriors, 6 Hole Guardians with the Standard of the Hold, 25 Seekers, and then he actually replaced my shooting units with Steam Compters, which is probably a good idea.
It depends what you like to play.
Yeah,
I think the one steam copter is fine, not really useful. The double steam copter I like very much. I like that he plays Rune of Devouring. I think it's insane.
it is. It's very good.
I like that he plays the Seekers maxed out. I like that he plays the Hold Guardians maxed out. He doesn't keep any of these points. I mean, the throwing weapons on the Greybeards, all stuff you could cut potentially, but I like that he doesn't do it. Because it means you can't fight with the unit with the Rune of Grounding, with the Rune of Devouring, with the throwing weapons. You can't ever think about going into that unit.
Yeah, or you need to really plan it correctly. So it's the same thing as the idea against the big standard unit with the giant. If you can flank these greybeards on either side, you will slowly but surely grind them down.
Yes.
But it's easier said than done. So if I had to wager, I think he will do well enough because most of the lists in this tournament are combat-oriented lists. I think the problem with this list is that it has one play.
Yes.
So you push, either things go your way and you go through and people engage your units and everything's fine, or the opponent starts playing like an elf
And
and
there's
then
a lot
you
of elf-like
can.
lists as well. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the Sylvanels of Camille or the Kingdom of Aquitaine that we saw of Valmir, they will most likely just run around it.
Yeah. So that's the problem. I can see him getting a lot of tens. So if I were him, I would just focus on the objective so that I'm sure that I get these +3 points and try for the best.
And yeah, I think that's a good idea. I don't
All
know
right.
if he'll play it like that, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Is he a very aggressive player? I've never played him.
He's a very uncertain player. He's most often times defensive unless somebody looks funny at him, and then he thinks he has to be aggressive. No, does it work that way?
It doesn't work that way. So yeah, if I had one piece of advice is just don't hesitate with the list. You have either to decide to push with everything and push well, or just hold back and keep your points. But what's the point in that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-game tournament. You have to go all in all the time, right?
Exactly.
That's how I play every game. I mean, yeah, go in.
Yeah.
Vampires.
It makes for better stories, right?
Yeah, stories. Like getting lost in Rusland. Jochen Geppetto with vampires. He brings a Count Lamia on a court. Visit Master as well, Witchcraft with magic resistance. His barracking is not on a horse. It's just a PvP.
I'm sorry, is this an error? Does he cost like 1/3 of his army and he has practically no items?
I assume. Let's just quickly go through the vampire. I still have it open. How nice. A vampire count basic is 330. 25 for Dead Arise, 225 for Master. He has a court which is 350. He's Lamia, which is 50 points. And then he has Commandment. That's something interesting as well, right? Is that the Lamia power?
Yeah, it's the one that gives his weapon skill.
That's 70 points. And then Obsidian Rock. So it's very well possible. I mean,
yeah, okay. Well, that's expensive.
That's very expensive. And it doesn't really look that threatening, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. You should never do this assumption. It's very threatening.
I mean, it doesn't hit that hard, and doesn't have that much of saves. 5 attacks, offensive 7, strength 5.
Yeah, no, that's not the point of it. The point of this is that he debuffs your units. You'll see that we have a lot of elves.
Oh yeah, sure, that's true.
And the elves will hate playing against that. But yeah, I get the feeling that this is more of a fluff list than a very good tournament list.
Oh, his army, he won Best Painted last year.
He's the guy who won Best Painted.
Yes,
yeah, I remember his army.
He likes playing with the army. Yeah, it is. He takes a lot of time painting. He painted half of my EDC list as well. So I mean, he's a very good painter. That's all I can say about it.
All right,
he's very
but
nice
otherwise, yeah, sorry.
And the rest of his list is basically skeletons and Barragard, with some chaff. I mean,
and Varkolax.
And Varkolax, 2 Varkolax. Yeah. I don't feel the Varkolax are very well supported by the rest of his list.
No, this is a list that would do very well if there were a lot of shooting lists in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Witchcraft and with the Varkolax and all these big blocks, you can like soak up shooting and threaten the shooting units. But there is not much of this going around. It's mostly heavy combat armies, so I think you will suffer a bit from that.
Is that the problem with 9th Age at the moment? That we have so many combat armies, not enough shooting?
I don't think that's a generalized thing. Do you think that everyone is bringing combat and nobody's bringing shooting? For me, it's just that in Belgium, we've been playing very aggressive armies. First and foremost, the guys from the ETC team, and then that affects like the player mentality all around as well.
So you're saying it's my fault? Okay, very nice.
It could be your fault.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, picture this: you've been playing this UD broken list for a year, and there's nothing a shooting list can do against that.
Okay.
So people just put their shooting models on the shelf, and they brought out fighting models, which is fine by me because it makes for more memorable battles.
But then again, I mean, if I play with my broken ED list, it doesn't really matter whether they have shooting or magic or
Yes, but
combat.
they
I don't know.
don't know that. They didn't know
Oh
that.
yes, yes, and I won't be playing it anymore, so they will never know. It's good, nice.
Which is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But that was off topic completely. Let's go to the next one. The first Orcs and Goblins I think we've seen from Johan Braat. He
so Johan,
brings a lot of stuff. A lot of
he
goblins.
keeps it simple though. He keeps
Yes.
it simple.
Uh,
He's got,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was about to. So he practically has all of his characters on foot. His chaff has 2 units of Cave Goblin Chiefs on Cave Nashers. And then he's bringing 3 big blocks.
Yes.
One of them being Forest Goblins, which is the thing that I do not understand.
With
And
throwing
the other,
weapons. Holy shit.
yeah, that's a lot of throwing weapons. Are these the skirmishing kind? No, you have to pay for the skirmish, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't think you could bring 35 skirmishers. That would be insane.
That would be fun inside a forest. Like, okay, come at me. If you
No,
charge me, you get 70 throwing weapons with poison.
that would be no. He's not skirmishing. No.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then he has this Shamanism Master with 2 extra spells, which help hitting. So he's going to buff these big units as much as he can. While he's maneuvering, he will shoot with 2 gate launchers, and he has 2 giants with nets.
Hmm.
It's also a nice choice. So the nets,
Yes.
they lower the strength. So it's all about getting the 2 big blocks in the fight and sticking there and buffing them and grinding down people.
And it would, I mean, the catapults are there, for, the get launchers are there to kill the chaff, the giants are there to help buff, just like the shaman. It's a yeah, good list. He doesn't
It's a
have a
good
lot of
list.
chaff himself, but he doesn't really
Yeah.
care about chaff, I guess. He will
Well,
always get charged, right?
he will always get charged. Yeah. So if you're charging him, you'd better make sure that you can like go through the unit in one go,
Yeah.
or have counter chaff.
Maybe he needed
And
Mykonox on the Iron Orcs.
that would be fine. Yeah, I think it would be fun having this one. I think when looking at orc lists, the first thing I look is there a Mykonox totem? If there's a Mykonox totem, it becomes a complicated thing for any army that has a buffed character or a unit with a particular synergy. Um, I would have liked to have, for example, a troll unit inside as well.
Something monstrous.
Yeah, and another threat, something more that you cannot ignore, because right now he has 2 blocks and 2 giants, and giants are not that good, right? They're good for a corner charge, but they're not the game-breaking unit.
No, and they have to stay inside the bubble as well. I mean,
Yeah,
not that the bubble is that difficult for him because he's got only 3 units on the field,
yeah,
but I mean, a spider or 2 spiders would have been good. How
yeah,
do
or
you get?
spiders.
I mean, how do you get it in? You have to drop one of your characters to get the spider in, I guess.
Well, 30 Iron Orcs is pushing it. I would have put less in there with the Mykonox totem and made use of their bodyguard rule, and just use the points to get another unit or 2 in there.
Yeah,
Or units of chaff as well. That could have
that's
been.
something true for a lot of lists we've seen. A lot of lists are maxing out on the unit. It's not weird. I mean, a lot of people are testing a new list and trying to see. Didn't really have time to max everything out or
Yeah,
decide what to do
agreed.
with the list. I mean, so it's fine. 30 Iron Orcs are dangerous. Always.
Very much so. So Jonathan brings vampires.
Yes, he does. The first one to send this list, by the way, like in early August.
In early August, yeah, he's
Yeah.
been playing with this a lot, I think. He's one of the pre-selected players as well for the ETC team,
Mm-hmm.
and he's bringing a very fine-tuned list. I like it. He has a vampire count with occultism and the extra range, but this one is on a steed, which is a good choice, knowing that there are no cannons in the field.
True.
And I think the Eternity Gem would have protected him anyway. Isn't it
Yes.
the thing that?
Yeah, exactly. The 2 abort save and the No multiple wounds and lethal strikes or something like that.
Yeah, so there is no downside to playing this mounted. He also has a mounted Barrier King and a second Necromancer with spells and two spells and Binding Scroll. So he only has two raises though.
He doesn't bring the necromantic staff. No. Oh
No,
wow.
no.
That is one thing I would like consider staple.
Yeah. And then he brings a big unit of ghouls, two units of zombies, a unit of direwolves with a champion like you wanted,
Yep.
a smaller unit of direwolves, three ghasts. Yeah, Jaff and
He plays MSU.
he does play MSU with vampires.
And
Well,
he can with that vampire count. Because the vampire count can easily take care of a unit by himself.
indeed. And he has double coaches, a phantom host, and shrieking horror.
It's cool. It's a cool list. I would
It
like to
is a
play
cool
that.
list. It has a lot of range for charges. It has multiple threats. Every one of these threats can do stuff on its own. They can combine really well. And if you don't want to approach him, he will just blast you with occultism.
The list isn't. I mean, I understand why he doesn't bring the necromantic staff on this list. He's
It
not.
doesn't play bubble.
He doesn't want to heal. He doesn't want to be in a bubble. Yeah, so it wouldn't be that good anyway.
Well, it would give him another Gates of the Netherworld for the coaches or the Shrieking Horror.
That's true.
But yeah, it's not necessary. I think that he has stripped the list down to what he considers to be the minimum.
We've seen one cannon so far and two gate launchers, right?
Yeah, I think that the Shrieking Horror will be such a pain for many lists. Not much divination so far as well.
No, not at all. Oh my god, the perfect field for my sphinxes. So.
If only you weren't TOing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The next Kingdom of Aquitaine, Loic. He's been playing for Team Belgium for a long time as well. Not last year, but I mean, before that, a long time. And he's also testing this year with us. So.
Yes, and he's a very good player. He's been playing Kingdom of Aquitaine for a long time.
And his list is more cookie cutter than any other list, though.
Yeah, I think we've seen this before. We've seen it with the Italian ETC list. It's a variant of that.
It's good. I like it a lot.
There's not much to say about this list. Everyone knows about it. He's bringing the Storm Clarion, which I consider a very good choice.
Yep.
And yeah, he has Druidism. He ticks all the boxes. So not much to say here. Yeah. He will do well because there are a lot of monsters, not a lot of cannons. Yeah, I think he will do very well.
He will, I'm sure. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about the list. I mean, everybody's seen it. He has a lot of magic resistance on his unit. I mean, that's something we can say.
He does. He has like magic resistance 4 in his unit.
He's very much afraid of insert magic. I have no idea. Evocation snipes.
With Druidism, you could just heal back the 1 or 2 ones they do.
Occultism.
Well, it's 30 points. It's 30 points.
Sure.
So why not?
Exactly. Why not? I mean, he has all the magical banners anyway. He doesn't have musicians on his big units of knights.
Yeah, full command FC.
Full command. Yeah, I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll go to the next one, the Sylvan Elves.
So Sylvan Elves, very popular army for this tournament. Lorenzo brings a list of his own, like
style.
Yeah. So it's not a cookie cutter list, but he has a lot of very good choices. So he starts with a duo of Wild Hunters and Great Oaks. Yeah. One which is the usual build with Titanic Might and Regeneration here. Because he's keeping... I don't know why he didn't give him the 4-up ward instead. He wants to have a better armor save. So I think he has a 2-up armor save and he has a 4-up regen. And then he has the BSB, who is strength 6 on the charge with a ton of attacks. And he has a 3-up, 5-up, I think. So yeah, two very frenzied, very, very mobile targets.
Yeah, very
and then he...
strong.
Very strong, and he buffs them with druidism as well, because when you're bringing two models like that, you don't really need offensive buffs. So he just wants to keep them alive with the Eagle King Druid on Druid Master
That
with the
is
Dragonfire Gem.
dangerous.
Well, is it? I think the Dragonfire Gem protects him against most magic missiles.
Against
And
pyromancy, sure.
yeah, that's what he's afraid of. And he has 4 wounds, he can heal wounds. I think that he will not lose that model that often.
No, he's going to be very defensive with it if he. I mean, but just imagine. I mean, that's 435 points, and your entire magic phase. I know he also has Briar Maidens.
No, he has Briar
But I
Maidens.
mean, a lot of his magic in 4 wounds, and he can't hide it.
Well, I would be. I would agree with you if there were more cannons, but since there aren't, I think he just took a gamble and paid off.
It did.
And with druidism, you can, if you manipulate the table right, you can even be in range with most of your spells without being anywhere near combats.
True. And you can't chase it. I mean, it's very fast as well.
Yeah, and
It's
then he
good.
complements this with 2 units, 1 unit of big unit of dryads, 2 units of scoring dryads, a unit of shooting archers, and then 9 Wild Huntsmen with flaming banner. I guess he was hoping there would be UD.
Yeah.
And a unit of 5 Wild Huntsmen with Sylvan Blade. Then 2 units of chaff, 5 Briar Maidens, 9 Sentinels.
Except for ED, is there any other thing with regeneration in the game?
Well, the Forest Prince.
Okay, so nice. Very well done.
I think that it's in an army without alchemy, it's essentially a choice to hunt down the UD, which are not present in this tournament, and trolls, but nobody's playing trolls anyway. So
That's fine. I like having a flaming banner in your list. I mean, it doesn't cost that many points, and if you're paying 600 points for a unit already, why
yeah.
not, right?
So, given how few shooting lists we've seen so far, I think he will do all right. Because these the only downside is that every hard-hitting model in his list is frenzied. So if he's not lucky enough with his frenzy checks, he will get into all sorts of weird situations, and this could provide a cascade of flee, overrun, charge, and just have him lose half his army. So that's one eventuality. But other than that, it's a good list. I like it. Yeah. And if you're paying 600 points for 9 toughness 3 models, you might as well bring druidism to bring them back or to boost them in some way.
Or put them in a forest, reroll those ones to wound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next list, the first vermin swarms we've seen, is it?
It is. Yeah. What a happy occurrence.
Nobody likes them. Go away. No, it's not true. Maximilien, good guy. Vermin swarms.
Bad army, but yeah, he's a great guy. So yeah, we'll just let this slide. And he's not bringing the trifecta of doom, so that's a good thing. But I'll let you read the list.
He has a BSB, which is anywhere in his unit. He has a Doom Bell, which costs a lot of magic. Like, for example, a Comet, or what is it called? Wrath of God. He has more magic with the Plague Patriarch. He has a few rats, some more rats, some more rats, fast rats, strong rats, very strong rats, and then he has rat swarms and 2 dreadmills. I think I got it. I got it. No, the real threats in his list are, of course, the Dreadmills and the Plague Disciples. If you don't die by magic, those guys can definitely help you, as well as the Vermin Hulks. But the Vermin Hulks, I can't see why they are in the list, actually.
Scoring,
but then again, you have, for the same points, you can bring like 400 rats.
Who can panic? I get his idea. So he has 3 big scoring units. What I don't like is the lack of the broken item that could let you reroll hits with magic missiles.
Yes, Second Awakening or something, right?
Yeah. So that should be in the list. But other than that, he has a lot of good options, and it's rats. So it's
he doesn't shoot a lot. He has like the 2 dreadmills. The footpads have slings, I guess, basic. I'm not sure. So he doesn't have a lot of shooting. He does have good magic. His combat is alright. I think he will do
Yes.
well because the dreadmills are basically cannons, and a lot of things we've seen are vulnerable to cannons, right? So I assume the dreadmills
Yeah,
will do well.
exactly.
But then again, if he
Um,
has to play against the cannon, I think well, he does have the Wrath of God, so I mean,
what I don't get is his core unit. So he has 285 rats and 45 rats with Ether Icon. So probably he will put his Magister with the Doom Bell inside the big unit,
mhm.
and that would leave his Meat Grinder inside the small unit,
Yes,
which could have like done with a banner and something else.
he might do it differently. Use the 25 rats to just put his mage in and keep it back, and use the 45 rats with the meat grinder to go and
Yeah,
fight.
but then wouldn't you just put the Banner of Ruin or the Aquila of Ruin, whatever it's called, to get +2 ranks?
Probably.
But yeah, anyway, it's a very good list,
Yeah, it's nice.
and
It's
it's
fine.
rats.
Certainly.
Yeah,
I'm interested in seeing how he does.
yeah. I hope I don't get to play him, but I hope he does well.
He doesn't have play catapults. He would have loved them this tournament.
True, so many elves.
So
Um,
many Kingdom of Aquitaine. I mean,
that
phew,
too, that too. But yeah, but with small units, you're just wasting your shots, right?
true.
Kind of.
The next one though, the
Menno.
the only duchy in the tournament, Menno van Tergouw, the first Demon Legion as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read the list and I'll let you say what everything does. So he has an Omen of Safar, a Wizard Master on Divination, with some tentacles and a backbone. He has a Deceiver, which is a general master. I think he's got the protein magic, right? And he has a Venom Sack. 21 Succubi with more backbones. 22 Myrmidons with a tail. 6 Claw Fiends, which are blood mothering. 10 Hellhounds with hot blood. Some ambushing gremlins with more venom sacks. 3 Veil Serpents with a champion, so they have magic, right?
Magic. Yeah.
And 5 Furies with more sacks. There's a lot of sacks in this list.
There's a lot of sacks and a lot of backbone, we have to say that.
Yeah, that's true. I love having backbone. Well done, Dutchy.
So yeah, it's Menno is he the captain of the Dutch EDC team,
I
or
have no clue. I actually have
he's a
no clue.
very good Dutch player.
Yeah, he usually plays ogres though. So he told me yesterday he has no idea how to play the list, but he will
Okay,
like it.
I think he will. I think the list is more difficult to play than most people let on, because your units are essentially without armor and with just resilience 3 or 4.
Hmm.
Um,
But it's a good
but
list in combat,
it's a good
right?
list. Yeah, it has so many buffs. It
His
has all the buffs in the world.
Succubi, and the Succubi have reroll to hit and poison. The
Yes,
Myrmidons have +1 to hit, and with the
and reroll
Omen,
to hit.
reroll to hit. That's nasty. The Hellhounds have +3 agility, I think, base. The Clawed Fiends can heal. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
good.
demons. It's
Yeah.
good.
And his
There's not a lot of
magic. Wow.
pyromancy so far, so he would be safe from that.
And not much shooting either. I mean,
Yeah.
we just passed Vermin Swarms and they only had 2 Dreadmills, which are going to be good against this list um, in killing the Veil Serpents if they come close or killing the Cloud Fiends. But even that, I mean, we've
So
seen the only shooting list in the tournament so far is the Jaina's, I think.
yeah, can I say what I don't like?
Go ahead.
There's just one unit of redirectors.
Yes and no.
He
It
has the gremlins, but the gremlins have to appear near a mage,
or
right?
something with channel, but I get what you
Yeah.
say. It depends what you play against, right?
This is a very pushy list. It won't get points from staying back, so he wants to push. If you want to push, you need a couple of units of
He
chaff.
doesn't need to push though. With a Divination Master, the Protein Magic, and the Veil Serpents, he has an insanely good magic phase. If he's not playing against the shooting army, he can literally just kill stuff with his magic.
Fair enough. Yeah, good demon list. Good player. I think he will do very good.
He is. He's a very fun guy as well. He also staying back to have some beers after the tournament.
Nice.
I think next year I'm going to throw a party afterwards. It's going to be a
You do that, or you can throw it before, the night before, and then we'll be all drunk.
Only if everybody comes. Otherwise, it's not fun, right?
That's true. You could have the first game at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, and make it a 5-game tournament. That's a very good idea.
Okay, yeah, okay. We're veering
next
wildly
one.
off topic.
Sylvan Elves again. No.
No, it's Sylvan Trees.
Sylvan Trees. Merlane with a mage on a horse, a druidism master with a binding scroll and magical heirloom. So that character for 500 points brings 5 spells, movement 9, a binding scroll, druidism. 320.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's good. I think it does everything you want it to do. It's
and can hide behind everything in this list, so he will be fine.
Yeah, he's safe. A thicket shepherd with an oaken crown and a battle standard bearer, which I like as well. It's very good. 20 archers with a musician, because you have to have some shooting in your list, right? And then he brings 15 more shots on horses. So he can also put his mage in horses if he feels he's not safe. Like for example, a cannon on a hill, he'd probably want to be in a unit.
Could be, yeah.
2 units of thicket beasts. One of them will house the thicket shepherd, I assume. 2 tree fathers, so more trees, and then 2 minimum-sized kestrel knight units with shields. So those are the only real fighting elves in the list. I think it's a good list. It's relatively slow. It will have issues against lists that fight better, and we've seen a lot of those.
But even then, he has a lot of units, and the Tree Fathers are particularly good at anything that fighting anything that's not burning portent.
Yes, we've only seen like 1 or 2 of those, so that's fine. I think it's fine. He can play the objective aggressively. He can play the objective defensively. He's got druidism, which I think is the best lore in this kind of lists.
Yeah, definitely.
The main model in this list, if it dies, I think he loses, is the BSB. His stubborn will go away from the 1 unit. His 3 fathers won't have to reroll anymore. The panic tests on his mage unit might fail. I think the BSB is the most important thing here.
True. The other thing is, what I don't like about the list is that it's leadership 8.
Yes.
So if I had to play this, I would change one tree father to an ancient. That would put him to leadership 9 for 20 points more. And that would give all of the stubborn units leadership 9, which is arguably a little better than leadership 8.
Doesn't do the tree fathers not have leadership 9 base?
No, they're 8. So that's a big problem in the list. You can definitely fail a discipline 8 check.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And when you fail it, you probably lose a huge chunk of points, and you lose probably other things that are behind that. So if he loses games, it will be because of that, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Let's see how it does. I think there's clear weaknesses, but I think this is very all-in. So if he wins, he's most likely going to get a lot of points as well.
So if he loses games, it will be probably because he gets to play against Nico as well.
Yes.
Who is the next player?
The next player also with Chaos, and he's one of the guys bringing the... Nope, he doesn't have a burning portent.
He does not have a burning portent, but he does have a dragon.
A wasteland dragon. Who knows what a wasteland dragon does? Nobody has ever seen the model on the table. And even worse, it's with a mage, a sorcerer on the wasteland dragon, a veil walker, occultism, paired weapons, hero's heart, magical heirloom, obsidian rock. The model does everything. It's magic is combat monster. It even shoots if he wants. With the breath.
It's all the points.
Yes, it's only 1,000 points, like 1,200 if it dies. I mean, it's not that bad. And to complement that flying threat, he also has a flying chosen lord.
He does.
With the one pre-rollable. We've seen this model before, and the spiked shield as well.
Yeah, so he's the cowboy that's not a cowboy.
600 points.
600 points, yeah. But at least he's not a general.
He's not the general. I mean, the general is the dragon. With no cannons in the field, the dragon is going to live.
So, yeah, but imagine this. Did you see how many Storm Clarions there are in the field?
2, I think, so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine what a bad matchup this would be?
Oh my god. Well, I mean, yes, but yeah.
Well, the dragon can move really far on foot. He moves 16 on foot, so yeah, he could evade. But yeah, getting back to what he has 20 warriors with halberds and envy, unit of 10 hounds. Yeah, 10 because he wants them to complete the 900 points from core. 2 things of chosen with envy and halberds. Battle shrine with a weird stone. Okay.
That's a weird stone.
It's a weird stone. And 2 units of Forsworn with spiked shields and damnation, 5 hellhounds, and a helmo. So essentially, he has the 2 characters, and then he has small units all around that can act as chaff, can act as extra combat units, combo charging. I think it's a list that plays really to Nico's strong points, which is being a very aggressive, pushy player and combining charges very well.
Yep, he's a very aggressive list, and
I have a
also
question.
wants on charge. So
yeah, do you think that the Helmo is necessary in this list?
No, but I don't think you can find anything in the book worth 345 points that does something better.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And it kind of forces the opponent to go chasing the Helmo if he doesn't want to have teleporting.
Yeah, exactly.
Warriors. So
I
yeah.
mean, for the same points, he can basically bring 5 more chosen. But I think having the leniency to teleport the chosen where you want, that's better.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I'll talk to Nico after the tournament to see what he thinks about it, but I think it will be fine. And the threat of the Helmo alone is very real. So
agreed.
Next up, we have the first and I think the only beast herds of the tournament. From Pascal.
Who is
himself.
that crazy person?
Yeah. Yeah, really crazy. I'll let you introduce your own list. I think that's the right thing to do.
All right. So the list is basically an infantry list. It has a beast lord with strength 7 and rerolling everything. A minotaur chieftain who punks demon models thanks to the Eye of Dominance and has a decent save. And the minimal investment in magic that I could. So an Adept on Evocation with the Dark Rain, which paired with the Gradient Totem Bearer and the totems gives me reasonable amount of spells. 2 Things of Chaff, 30 Mongrels with the banner that everyone takes, 24 Wildhorn Herd with banner of speed and a totem, and shields, 2 units of 5 centaurs with lances to make them strength 7 if they're drunk, 2 times 10 longhorns with ambush, 18 longhorns with blooded horn totem, 2 times 3 minotaurs with great weapons, 5 minotaurs with shields and the totem that makes them charge farther, and a razor tusk chariot.
You have so many bounce spells.
Yeah, it's kind of like the dwarven magic phase, only they are cast on a lower level, and they also only target a unit once. So that's the difference.
Oh, that's fine. You can't stack them, but that's
Yeah.
fair, I think. You have so many units, so much scoring, so many different weapon options, so many different strength and toughnesses and speeds. It's going to be a headache for people who don't know the army, which is a reason why you might be able to do well. But
well,
apart
I'm not
from that,
optimistic about my chances seeing the other lists. It's a combat list, but it has like low agility. The unit sizes are not big because I enjoy playing smaller units. And in the end,
I mean, You're right, but you have reroll to hit everywhere. You have very long threat ranges with almost everything. Um, you can play the scenario very well compared to 3 block lists. I think I think your list is quite fine in the field. I'm not saying it's automatically winning because I think this is one of the lists that requires a lot more skill than a 3 block list. But I
But
think
it's
if you
more fun. It's
it's
more
more
fun.
fun. Yeah, most likely. It depends what you like, of course, but
Yeah, if you like maneuvering and not necessarily winning, it's a good list.
not necessarily winning. If you like spending 2 hours on your movement phase and not accomplishing anything, right? That's what we
Yeah,
need.
we'll talk about it after the tournament. I'm not going to divulge all my strategies here.
Yeah, of course, I understand completely. I like it. I also like the investment in magic. I think it's exactly right. Dark Rain is not really that good this tournament.
No,
Um,
we've discussed about that. It was a very bad choice for that tournament.
but of course, you would always take it, right?
Especially if I happen to play against the next gentleman,
Yes,
that would be a very useful addition against the dwarves. By the way, I'm on the move, so you'll have to read lists from now on.
very well. We will have the Vermin Swarms first of Content the Custard. He's playing a Vermin Demon, a Tyrant on Vermin Hulk Bodyguard, with basically a good armor save for a regen, with a
Yep.
lot of attacks. He has a Chief, also on a Vermin Hulk Bodyguard BSB, with a good save, 5 upward save. 2 times 45 rats, once with Aquila of Ruin, once with a Legion standard. 2 times Vanguarding Footpads, 2 times 6 Vermin Hulks, a Meat Grinder, and 2 Dreadmills.
Right.
That's a very straightforward list, I think. 2 big units, 2 times the Vermin Hulks with characters on Vermin Hulk. I like how the list is different from everything else we've seen from Vermin Swarm so far. Not much shooting, the Dreadmills are still there to cover the flanks if needed. The Vermin Hulks are very decent, certainly if backed up by a character. The characters can also go out alone if they want. The Rat-at-Arms are very good at keeping the combat steady, at keeping steadfast, and the Vermin Demon brings excellent magic. I think it's
Yeah,
well
that sums it
rounded.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else about this list then. He's the
Um,
last person to give me his list, though. Mm,
does he get a penalty for that?
no, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. He was
Okay,
just
that's
in
good.
time.
All
I
right.
haven't given any penalties, by the way. Just so everybody knows, the only penalties you can get is by mocking me at the day of the tournament itself.
Can I mock you now?
You can mock me now, as you have always.
I won't. I won't.
The next list is also of a Contin dwarves.
Yeah, that's the one I was referring to.
Yeah, the one list where
Different content.
yeah, the Dark Rain will do something here. He
Yeah,
brings
exactly.
double engineer, double runecrafted organ gun, 1-2 units of warriors with shields, 1-2-3 units of greybeards with shields and throwing weapons, 2 units of miners with pistols, 6 hold guardians, 2 grudge busters, 2 steam bombers, and an attack copter. So he has
All right.
20 units, and everything is a threat.
So that's an MSU. By the way, do you is there a lot of noise because I'm outside now?
I can hear stuff, but it's fine.
All right. Okay. Because
That guy
the
is
thing
very
is,
enthusiastic.
so yeah, I'm in the campus and they're having their how's it called? The Batim. I don't know if you have that in Flanders.
I have no clue.
So basically, these are students who are dressed up funny and doing weird things that they will regret in 5 6 years. But
That's
okay,
what
that's
I.
part of being a student.
Yeah,
So
exactly. We're not going to talk about stupid things anymore.
no,
No,
right. So what I like about this list is that it's an MSU very hard list to counter. What
it's
I
very
don't like
good.
is that it's an MSU list of dwarves, which is practically shooting, and then charging stuff if anything survives. And I think he will do very well because he has double organ guns, he has a ton of units, he has a ton of scoring. But I don't think there's much to say other than okay, good choice of list, but
Yeah,
nothing surprising.
and good luck to all of his opponents.
Exactly.
Because this is the list you want to beat very hard, and you will never be able to.
No, it will not give 20 points unless he plays it very badly.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not a bad player, right? I've
No,
seen him
he's a
play
good player.
before, so.
He's part of the Belgian fanatics, Brussels fanatics, right?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
The first Ogre Khans list in the
All right.
tournament is from Robin.
Robin
Another one
Morant.
of yes,
Yeah.
Robin Morant. He went to the ETC in Croatia. Not this one,
He
but the
did.
one before. Not to play, but to cheer us on. So
Yeah, great
he's
guy.
known across the world as well by now. He brings a shaman on shamanism, a master with Liger's tongue and a magical heirloom, a hunter, troll eater, leader of the pack, restless belt, hunting spear, dragon staff. It's always cool that dragon staff is included. Khan BSB with a crown of the Wizard King, a mammoth hunter again, with a
All right.
spine splitter, basalt infusion, iron fist, hunting spear, talisman of
Let
chivalry.
me ask you, did he just copy Nico's list?
Not completely, but a lot
Okay.
of it. He brings three times, three bombardiers two times. So he has some shooting.
All right.
Whereas Nico always opted for the ambushers. Well, not always, but most of the time. He also has two rocks, of course. Um, yeah, it's basically a very good Ogre Khan's list, I guess.
It is.
I
It does
don't.
everything.
I've told them
Um,
I didn't like the bombardiers, and I'm sticking with that idea. I think they're completely irrelevant in the list, and that they will just lose their points almost
well,
every battle.
they're a scoring unit. They're a scoring unit that can shoot something.
Yeah, but they're yeah, yeah, true. They're a shooting unit that scores, but if you shoot one, they're off the table, right? Because they're not going to march on with the big bunker,
No, no.
so they'll just panic and run away. But I think it's a good list. He will, if he charges in and gets in, he can kill a lot of stuff. He can be
Yeah.
very annoying with the hunters. He hasn't played a lot with them yet, though, so he might make mistakes, which is always very bad with this kind of list because you really need to know how to apply pressure.
Yeah, it's quite punishing, and there's a lot of tricks that you can do with mammoth hunters and the saber tusks. At least what Nico does with his hunters and the saber tusks.
Hmm.
And I think you need to have figured out all the quirks before playing it to its full effect. But I think he will do rather well because the other armies are also combat armies, and Rock Aurochs love charging into combat blocks.
If there's anything Rocks like, it's charging for sure.
Yeah.
I hope he does well because he's had some bad luck recently in his battles, and I kind of hope he does well this time.
Did this bad luck involve Undying Dynasties?
No, no, not at all. Actually,
No,
no, not at all, not at all, never. No, it's been a while
never.
since I played him, so um,
Yeah.
I've seen him charge with his bunker and a rock into a unit of slayers and lose his army in that time.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising. Has he already painted his army?
He's in the process of finishing it, I think.
It would be beautiful when it's
It will
finished.
be beautiful. He's a very good painter as well.
His.
I think last year it was Jochen who won, and I think the year before it was Robin. So now it
Yeah,
will be a tough competition again,
at some point,
hopefully.
Robin won all the awards for painting everywhere with his brilliant lizardman.
Yeah, it's a shame he doesn't play it anymore. Oh well. Then we have Sebastien Penning with the Demon Legions.
All
He
right.
is the one bringing the Scourge, who is also the general, an adept on thaumaturgy with hard target and mirrored skills. If I'm not mistaken, that's if somebody attacks you and rolls a 1 to hit, they attack themselves instead.
That's it. Yeah.
And Brimstone, which is, if I'm not mistaken, that divine attacks don't work against you.
That's it. Again, yes.
Then he has an adept on divination and an adept on witchcraft, both on a great beast of prophecy. 2 times 21 myrmidons with a reroll to hit, 4 brazen beast with +1 to hit, 2 times 5 hellhounds with horn of hybris, which I'm not entirely sure of what it does, but it's fine. And 2 blazing glories with cloven hoofs, so they fly, right?
Blazing Glories with no, they have impact hits.
Impact hits. Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's a very aggressive list, right? Scourge, Myrmidons, Hellhounds, Brazen Beast,
Lots of targets, lots of big.
and good magic. triple adept, thaumaturgy, divination, witchcraft. He's there to win the combats for sure. The scourge is always difficult to play with, more now than it was in past era with different kind of scourges. This one might actually die before it gets to strike, so I'm very interested in seeing how it does.
Well, reading it,
Yeah,
and so that means that he's not that susceptible to bad luck from mechanics stuff. Good.
yeah, you're kind of falling away, Smith. Is everything
Uh,
all right there?
yeah. Let's try this again. Is it better?
It's a lot better. I understand you now. That's good.
All right. Excellent. I just shared a big and very important piece of information with you, but I cannot remember what it was.
Okay.
No, but
That's good.
seriously, I was just saying that the scourge is the big, like the big exclamation and question mark in the list. So either it will do very well and it will be great, or it will die and it will cost him like 1/3 of his army, which I
Let's
guess is why most people haven't been playing it for a while.
yeah, let's hope
But
it stays
from
alive.
what my little birds are telling me, it will be getting looked at in the new version of the.
I've read something about that on the forums. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but it was something like +1 weapon skill defensively and -1 offensively or something like that. Whatever, we'll see when it
We'll
hits.
see. Yeah.
Yeah. The next list is from Simon Pacouret. He's a French guy, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a very regular player in our tournaments. He's been here before. I think he lives in Belgium, but he's originally from France, and he's a Dread Elf player.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
been for a while now.
And you know what his first model on his list is?
Let me guess. Dread Elf and Dragon.
An Oracle on Dragon, sure. Yema, Occultism, Morix Reaping, Familiar, and the Lash.
Yeah,
I don't know where he
Lash.
saw
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah, he also plays 2 Hydras, which I like a lot.
Yeah,
He also has an
it's a lot of
assassin.
impact hits.
Yeah, assassin with Ring of Shadows, Path of Bloody Murder, and Bloodroot. So he's really in there for the combat. He has a Cult Priest, but not on an altar, just a BSB with the Banner of Card Daikos. And a Potion of Strength, which is good because that model only has 2 attacks, right?
Yeah, he's not there to do the fighting. He's there to give the rerolls
Yeah.
the army, and he actually triggers Killer Instinct for the blades, which is also nice.
That's nice because he has 27 Blades of Nab, which is a
Yeah.
very big unit of very squishy models, with a Rending Banner and full command, 3 times Dark Raiders, 2 times Dread Knights, and 2 Medusa. So
No Blood Runner on the Dread Knight.
and nope, 2 times 5 with Musician and Champion.
Yeah,
So relatively cheap.
that's what I would change. The blades he went to great lengths to keep them alive. He's giving the Ring of Shadows. He's bringing a lot of them, but essentially it's the first round, right? So
they're going to
I
do
don't
very well here. I mean, with the low amount of shooting we've seen.
Yeah. No, they will be fine, but he would have been fine with 2 times 14 costing
Oh
3
yeah,
times less.
sure.
That's what I'm getting at. So and the Rennick Banner is a good choice because that leads them to a very nice spot.
Yeah, at least AP1. That's not bad.
AP1 is it's like the fine spot.
Yeah, it's at least better than AP0, right?
Yeah.
I also like the inclusion of the Hydras. Although they are more costly than the Krakens, I think the Breath Weapon makes up for it most of the time. And also the regeneration save is nice. It keeps them just alive longer.
I think in this list I would have liked to see a bit of flaming alchemy synergy.
Yes, I
It would
think
have
it
been
would have been nice. Like the Dread Knights would have been good with the Banner of Blood. The Blades of Nub are good with the Rending Banner and the Guard Daikos. Although I think I would have preferred the Flaming Standard and have Alchemy on the Oracle.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
If you had alchemy and the flaming standard there, you get lots of opportunities for reroll soon, which is really.
Yeah,
kind of.
it's insane. Good Red Elf list though. It's going to perform well. It's hard to lose very hard with it unless you go all in, right? Or if
Or
you
you
lose your first cast.
you fail your.
Yeah, which is going to
Um,
happen every
he has a
now and
lot.
then.
He has enough chaff. He has which are great. No, the list is well built.
Yeah,
So
sure.
let's hope he does well.
The next one is Saurian Ancients again. Thibaut Bovy, Boulard. He's also pre-selected for Team Belgium this year.
Yes.
He brings a Quattle on Divination, who's a BSB with Jade Staff, Symbiosis, Talisman of the Void, so Ancient Knowledge. A lot of stuff. Divination, you can't go wrong with that, I think.
That is true.
An Alpha Carnosaur,
Especially
General.
if your agility is 0, 1, or 2, so you're getting benefits of the
Yeah.
+2 agility spell.
Unless you play against like elves. I've had so many times I had that spell and just
Didn't matter.
useless. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Happened.
Carnosaur has everything you want on him. Touch of Greatness, Starfall Shard, Spirit of the Stampede. He probably has too much, but that's fine.
No,
Big
I think
chunky.
Thibaut is one of these players who he's a very good player, but he's also a very good list. So
Yeah.
he's very meticulous in figuring out all the combos, and I don't think that you get all of them by looking at his lists. And when you play against him, you just keep like discovering things, which is nice.
It's an adventure.
It is, yeah.
The rest of his list is an Engine of the Ancients, which is automatically included if you bring an Alpha Carnosaur, I think.
I think it's in the price, yeah.
Yeah, most likely. Sticyosaur with Mystic Traveler, which I like a lot as well. 3 times Pterodons, 6 Kaiman with Halberds, and some core. I think the list is well rounded. It has a lot of units, a lot of threats actually. 3 monsters, 6 Kaiman, 30 Saurian warriors, divination. It has a lot of stuff. It can certainly put up a fight against most things. He might have issues with the lists playing 3 blocks. Unless those blocks are Forsworn, then the Carnosaur will love that list.
That's true. That's what I was getting at with the whole like comment on the previous Warriors of Dark God list with 3 blocks.
Yeah. I mean, that Carnosaur will wreck. Mostly, not all the time, because there's not a lot of monsters. There's certainly not a lot of cannons, so the Carnosaur is kind of safe. It's nice.
Can I put you on hold for a while? We'll be able to like continue if I close this call for 2 minutes.
Sure.
All right. So can you call me back in 2 minutes?
For sure, I can.
All right.
I'll
Thank
talk a
you.
little bit about my life while you're gone.
Or you can talk about a list.
Or I can talk
I'm
about
not sure
lists.
they want to hear about your life. They could. I don't know.
It's possible.
Depends on who's listening to it.
Who is listening to me? That is a very good question.
So I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll let me know when you're back.
Okay.
Is there anything else I can tell you about challenge before going on to the next list? I'll hide it a little bit. Let me bring up the rules pack real quickly. Not the bearings for the ETC, no, the rules pack, that's what I needed. Challenge 14, so in Roeselare, a city in West Vlaanderen in Belgium, as you might have known. It is in Trax, a cultural center in the center of the city, next to the train station, which is easy for some people to get to us. And we'll be playing almost more than 10 hours on Saturday, September the 28th. 3 rounds will be played from 8:30 till 7. And we will give everybody almost 3 hours to play, a little bit less for the timetable purposes that was necessary. And at the end of the first battle, and before the second battle, everybody will be able to get some sausages. We have hot dogs available for everybody who comes for a very decent price.
And I'm back.
And you're back already. I was just talking about the rules back real quickly and about our barbecue.
All right, go ahead. You can continue about that. That's interesting.
I just said the barbecue was nice. That's basically the most important.
Having tasted it, it's very good. And I think that well, I wouldn't say otherwise because you're hosting this, but it's a very good tournament. And if you ever have the chance to travel to Rosedar to play a war game, I would suggest Challenge. It's a very nice.
It's very nice to say of you. I do think the standard of tournaments in Belgium is quite high in general
It
for a
is.
relatively cheap price. If you compare it to the other countries I've gone to
Mhm.
recently, I mean, I've gone to Netherlands, Luxembourg, and France quite often, and all the tournaments are always fun and always good. But in general, I think our tournaments are relatively cheap.
Yeah, because space costs less, I think, for the organizer.
It's
Um,
possible, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I'm not a TO, so I wouldn't know. But it's really good. And as you see, the lists are always fun and quite different from what you get to play. And the generals are good. So if you're looking for a challenge, you can come to the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. We only have 3 lists remaining actually for the.
Wow,
Yeah, we've gone through. I was going to say relatively fast, but almost
it's not true. No.
not at all. High Elves from Thomas Bodnar.
All right.
He's playing Commander Master of Kenrick Tower with Banner of Becalming. He's BSB. I think it's a good character. A mage on Cosmology Master. Again, I don't really like Cosmology on. Although this list is different. Okay, let's read rest of the list first. 35 spears with a rending banner. 23 spears with Relentless Company. 5 Aline Reavers. 25 Flame Wardens with a rending banner. 24 Lion Guard with a War Banner of Rima. 24 Swordmasters with a rending banner. 5 Knights of Rima and an Eagle. That list has 3 special combat blocks and 1 core decent combat block, which means he plays with 4 huge blocks of high initiative, good to hit rolls. He has +1 strength in his spells. He can give a ward save to his units which are not flame wardens. He has a lot of things up his sleeves and will do well against the other lists we've seen so far. A lot of combat.
And I'm back again. Sorry about that.
It's fine. It's fine. I just
Did you notice I was gone?
yeah, I noticed you were very silent, which is the most important, right? Usually you are not so easy.
No. I'm quite vocal about my opinions.
So the list had 24 Swordmasters, 24 Line
I
Guards,
remember
25.
it's the list with all the infantry blocks.
Yeah,
Like
4 of
all of
them.
it.
It's so nice. Um, very unique.
It is, and in a field where there's so little shooting, I think it's a very dangerous list.
Yeah. Who can
Um,
fight against Swordmasters 1-on-1? I mean,
yeah, not many people, and those who can are usually afraid of the white lions, and he has both, right?
yeah, for 24 White Lions with War Banner of Rima, charging at strength 7.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting. That's insane. Yeah, I
So
think we'll have to see how he plays with it because I don't think it's easy. He only has 2 chaff pieces. His scoring is not fast. I mean, he's got movement 5 on his combat blocks, but no swift stride, only movement 5. It's very difficult to get in the right combats, right?
yeah, but if he hasn't got any shooting to pressure him, he will take his time.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we've seen 0 pyromancy, we've seen 0 catapults.
It's true.
It's the perfect like environment to play such a list. I don't know if he had like this inkling, this premonition, or if he just wanted to use the model that he likes. But I
Belgium is
really
so
like this
weird.
list. It is like bring 2 play catapults.
You win the tournament.
You win the tournament.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And that's one high elf list, which I liked. The next one is, I was going to say the last Warriors of the Dark Gods, but it's not true. We have 2 more. The
2
next one,
more.
yes, the last 2 lists are both Warriors of the Dark Gods.
All right.
The first one we're going to talk about is Thomas Jacobs. We kind of know him quite well. One
We
of the
kind of
he kind of
yeah.
yeah. He's a kind of flamboyant dude who talks to everybody at every event. Who is loved by everybody at every event, I guess.
It is true. And he's a very, very well well mannered little guy who's not little at all as well. He's young. He's younger than I would have
He's
suspected.
younger than me,
But
so that means he's like a kid,
he
right?
is. Yeah, practically. But he has he's a very interesting guy. I like talking to him, and he's a good friend. And he has let his highborn elves on the shelf for once, and he's going for combat.
Yeah, he told me he wanted to win, so he brought a very interesting list of Warriors of Dark Gods. A
But he's a
sorcerer.
very good general. He's a very
Oh
sound
yeah,
general. So
for
with a
sure.
good list, I think he has good chances of winning.
I think he's won challenge 5 years ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember exactly, but he's won the event before. So he has a sorcerer on alchemy on a battle shrine. He
Mm-hmm.
has a chosen lord, envy, idol of spite, trophy rack, spiked shield, dusked forged, hellforged armor, thrice forged, symbol of slaughter, and ranger's boots.
So he's like the third player who is not bringing the burning portent.
Wrong. He has another chosen lord with a burning portent.
Or okay, now
Okay.
I'm feeling better.
Yeah, exactly. The burning.
I'm especially feeling better about the Dragonfire gem I bought for my Beast Lord.
Oh
It was
yeah.
specifically for this item.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Poor Pascal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So two chosen lords. One is Dark Prelate, which is good. He's going to be on a unit on a war dais, and one has Ranger boots. So I assume he wants to use him solo. He can go into the unit as well, of course, but it's
So why
weird.
wouldn't he buy the flying upgrade? He wants the Idol of Spite or what?
Yeah, he has the Idol of Spite, but I don't know. I think flying does give some possibilities.
Yeah,
But
I would prefer flying to just having him as a fast cowboy, but I think that then you have to sacrifice the +1 strength.
the
Right?
good thing is, now he's not fucked by the Storm Clarion.
That's true. That's so true. So he's like movement 7, 8.
That's a good question. I think he
I think it's
marches
+2.
+4 and movement +2. Yeah, so he's movement
Yeah.
7. He doesn't have Swift's right, which is meh, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's primarily fun, I think.
Yeah, if fun by fun you mean like slaughtering your opponents, it's very fun.
Yeah, he has a symbol of slaughter. I mean,
Yeah, so that's fun.
it's fun. It has to be fun. The rest of his list is 24 warriors for his war dice to be in. 2 times 5 warrior knights, Lance's Lust champion. Three,
Interesting.
2 times 3 Forsworn with Damnation, a Helmo with 1 gateway, and 2 times Warhounds. So he has a decent amount of chaff, I'd say, if you count Forsworn as chaff.
You can even count the knights as chaff.
Yeah, it's only
They can flee.
380 points for 5 knights. I mean, cheap.
They can flee and then they can rally and move again, right? Isn't it? Don't they get like faint flight
I,
from Lust?
it's possible. I'm going to look that up because that's actually a very fair point. Things I did not think about yet. But then again, Thomas flees with everything. He's used to that, so.
Well, for the people who do not know Thomas well, we usually watch his games and we are perplexed as to how things are going because he looks like he's losing and then he's finally winning, and we never figured out how he's doing it, especially with Highborn. But I guess that's why he was in the team because he does something that nobody else does. Like
Lust does 4 things. You gain Strider, you
yes,
gain Faint Flight, you can
uh-huh.
flee you can flee even if you're fearless, and you can rally with minimized roll. If you fleed voluntarily.
All right, so that's even better. Like you flee, then you get a free reform on your turn, and you can move.
Yeah. If with Warrior Knights, I mean that's insane.
Yeah,
That's
I
really
think this
insane.
will catch people off guard. The other important part is that he has this sorcerer on the battle shrine,
Hmm.
and that I think that gives him the comet as part of his spells.
Now you're saying things I have no idea about again.
Yeah, I think that it gives him Wrath of God, which is such a game changer for the warriors. You can place it behind lines and force people to come to you. You can use it to
Oh
clear
yeah.
off war machines if there are, which there aren't in our tournament, and generally do bad stuff. So I think he has the he has a very good toolkit, and he just has to use it well. And we both know that he's capable of doing that.
I think Thomas lost too many times to Wrath of God, so he wanted to play it.
Yeah, he's taking revenge.
He's taking revenge to the world, and he's right to. The last list, also Warriors of the Dark Gods, our reserve player Tino.
Tino, yeah,
Tino,
very nice guy as well.
he's active on the forums as well. Badman and a bunch of numbers. I've seen him around there. He brings double Exalted Herald,
All right,
which is unique. I think.
it is. He brings the only two Exalted Heralds
Yeah,
as well.
very nice. Two Exalted Heralds, so they don't need to get buffed, right? They're in a tournament.
Yeah.
And then he has a Barbarian Chief, which is the general, on foot with a 1-up armor, I think, Talisman of Shielding, and a Banner of Speed.
All right.
285 points for his general. I think that's cheap
That's
compared to
cheap
the Exalted
for.
Heralds. I mean, yeah. And then he
But it
has.
only gives him leadership 8.
Yeah, but it's Warriors of the Dark Gods. He's not going to lose anyway. He
Yeah.
has Chaff, 17 warriors with Zealot Banner and halberds, 4 chosen knights with Favor of Sugulag, favorite champion, musician, standard bearer of speed. So he really wants speed, and 2 big brother giants.
Nice. So
He's
he's
taking
potentially.
advantage of the no cannons. You
He
feel
is.
it.
He is. So he has essentially 4 monsters, because the Exalted Heralds could be considered monsters, and he's got some fighting units and some chaff. Well, it's a ringer list, right? I think it's a good list for the replacement player, in that it's fun to play with and against, and it won't make anyone hate their life for being there, which is like essential in my opinion when you're playing you're the ringer. You're not there to ruin the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. You're not there to win the tournament, but you don't want to just be a walkover either. But yeah.
No, it's not a walkover list.
No.
Because the Exalted Heralds have a ton of magic. They have good magic. They have occultism. They can get Veilwalker. They can get the Comet.
Yeah.
And they can get all kinds of nice abilities. And I think he gets all of them with the 2 Exalted Heralds, because he cannot duplicate, I think.
No, you can't get duplicates. But that means
So
he'll have 1 with Stomp Attack, Stubborn, Tall Terror, and +1 Strength, +1 Armor, Pen, and Divine, most likely. So that is a combat beast. And then he can get a flying one with Veilwalker, I guess.
yeah, that would be the rational choice. Like have a flying caster and a very, very good combat fighter.
That's nice. I think I like it. I think this list will do well, actually, against most of the lists. Like, there's lists that counter this very easily, but not all that many. All these combat units in this tournament.
It will be such a bloody tournament.
Yeah, we'll
It's
have so
nice.
many results, so many results so early in the tournament. I like it.
And there will be, I think, a lot of high scores, because all of these lists are designed to go 0-20-20-0, which is what you're looking for in a singles tournament, I guess. You don't want to win small. You want to, if you can, win big, so you can have a good chance of winning the tournament.
And don't forget, guys, if you win 20-0, offer your opponent a beer, please.
Yeah, a high five and a beer.
And most importantly, the beer, because that helps our revenue. The high five is completely your choice, but buy beer, please.
That helps, like, the world by making it a better place.
Yes, and make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race, right?
While I'm doing this, I'm trying to park my car without.
We can all
like,
hear you help. If you hit something, it will be a very nice episode.
Yeah, it will be immortalized in not in print, but in audio recordings. Yeah.
I want to add to all the lists we just went through. It's 32. If you find any mistake in any army list, you've seen them all. I will publish them shortly after I upload the video. If you find any mistake, please contact me on the email address you will see right there on top of the lists.
I don't think there are that many of mistakes
No,
because I went through the list. I didn't find any like flagrant errors.
exactly. But please don't comment on this video. I will not read it. Please don't post anything on Facebook. Don't talk to someone personally.
Yeah.
It doesn't help anything. Contact me, please. And also, if you're playing in the tournament, please bring a copy of your own army list, so I don't have to print this file 20 million times. That would be nice. It will,
And
of
that would
course,
save some trees as well. So that's good.
yes. And when talking about trees, I think Marlene's army will be very happy if you don't use them all for paper.
That's true. Or do just use them all for paper.
Oh yes,
Solid paper.
take his models and yeah, yes, he will love that.
Yeah, but so can I ask a question?
Sure.
Your quick top three before we go.
My quick top three. Ah, that's
Yeah.
dangerous. Um, who
Oh no,
I
it's just an like a totally arbitrary thing based on who you like. But
yeah, I could do that. I think I'm going to go with, in no particular order. I think Quentin will come. Has a very good chance of being top three.
yes.
I will also go with Nico because I think his list makes most of the environment without cannons. And I think Jaina with the cannon has a very good chance of making top three as well.
Okay, so I will go with three totally different guys.
That's good.
I will pick Valmir with his KOE
Hmm.
for the same reasons as you, because there are tons of monsters, tons of targets for his units,
Hmm.
and not a lot of shooting around. So all of his knights will get into combat. I would pick. Let's see. Thomas. Thomas could do very well. He's been doing very well on UB as well.
Oh yeah,
So
true. I've read that.
I would make him one of my top three, and the third one, um, it would be unfair not to put one undead in the top three, um, just because it's your tournament and I know how how partial you are to undead models. So I would put Jonathan with his vampire counts also in top three.
Yes, that's a very
But
good list
I
as well.
guess we'll see in 2 weeks' time, right?
Yeah,
Less than that.
I think almost everybody who's in the tournament has a good chance of making top three, even winning.
I agree. It's
So
going to be a very fun event.
yeah, and I hope everybody enjoys themselves. That's the reason why we organize this every year. Um, yeah, and
Yeah,
even if you don't play, you can always come and look. Have your barbecue, have your beer, have your chat with everybody you find over there, and enjoy yourselves. I mean that's all it's about. And look at all the nicely painted armies as well, because of
yeah,
course we'll
that
also
too.
hand out best painted army again. Um,
Nice.
so
To Robin or Jürgen.
Jochen, maybe there's somebody else who has
Yeah.
like a very nicely painted army. I have no clue. Like
All
I've
right.
I've never been interested in nice best painted, but everybody knows that about me. Um, this fi-
You did win once as part of a team.
Oh yes,
That's
that's true. The first team
yeah.
tournament I did, we won the tournament and we won best painted.
So yeah, actually, yeah, technically you've won a best painted award, which is a travesty in itself.
It is, but I want to put this on the video. I think I earned that award as well.
You did, you
I
did, you
earned
did
it.
win the best art, not the best painted, but the best general. You did earn it.
Uh,
So yeah, that has been very fun, Lee.
yeah, we've been
I
talking
hope
for
it,
over 2 hours now, which is
yeah,
about double the time we thought this would take. So that's nice.
yeah, but
Um,
it's a work in progress, and it's there's a learning curve. So I think we should do the next one if there's a next one shorter and more to the point. But
sure.
who knows? Because we like talking and we like hearing ourselves on video.
Of
So
course,
perhaps it
that's
will
the
be
reason
as
why we
long
do
as
this, right? So we can hear
yeah,
ourselves again.
that and the likes. Like it, people. Like, subscribe. Do you have a channel? No, we don't have a channel. So
I don't
do
have a
not
channel
subscribe
yet.
because we don't have that.
But
But
something else, I heard that Jan Favre and Adrien also want to do this list review, but then in
oh,
French for our French colleagues on the southern part of Belgium. I'm
that's
going to
nice.
send the lists to them right about after I load this up. So
that's excellent.
yeah,
Perhaps
that's
they will do a video with less noise on the part of one of the commentators.
yeah. But
But that's what keeps it interesting. So
it's actually good that we have this noise, so they don't always have to listen to me, right?
that's I wasn't saying that I was a noise.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I've got
people
it all wrong.
for you who do not know Guy that much, that's what you get when you talk for 2 hours to Guy.
Yes.
Just relegates you to being noise.
Yes, exactly.
Then with this, I think I will leave you and wish you a very nice evening. And
Yeah,
I'll see you in 10 days' time.
yeah, exactly. Enjoy and yeah, don't die before then.
Yeah,
And
no, I'll try.
to everybody who's listening, don't die, please. Not yet.
No, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a very bad idea. And if you have any
Okay.
comments, please send them to me. I would love listening to what you have to say. And enjoy the rest
Awesome.
of your days.
See ya.